at least for French people, but I'm sure for all of you. So we will now have the presentation more in detail about the Pillar 1 and the Pillar 1 coordination. So we will present Work Package 2, 7 and 8. So we will start with François Moisan, which is a scientific officer from LIP, working at the French National Research Agency. So after Professor Mokhtar Selami will take the floor, and is from the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research of Algeria. And I will animate this session and present Work Pillar 8. So François, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Marie-Laure. So good afternoon to everyone. So this afternoon we are beginning with the work packages of Pillar 1, and the first one is the working package 2, included in the working package 3, but in charge of the general coordination of the Pillar 1. So the working package 2 focus on activities required to ensure an effective implementation of Pillar 1, including facilitation of dialogue between funders, the funding agencies, seeking commitment of the funders for the successful launch of a long-term EU-AU partnership. So it's also in the perspective of the future activity. The objectives of this working package 2 are the following. The first is to set up Pillar 1 governance structures, the call steering committee, which gather all funding agencies, and the joint call secretariat, which is in charge of the day-to-day activities regarding the call. The call steering committee gather several agencies of the group, mainly ENR, MECRS, Louvain University, DSI, IRSN, UEFI, SCDI, and FFG. The objectives is also the work planning of Pillar 1, the coordination of the two following work package dedicated to Pillar 1, working package 7 and 8, and target setting for these activities. The working package 2 has in charge administrative and financial management of the project, also in charge the management of gender issues and etica, the quality control, the monitoring result regarding to fulfill the planned objectives, and the management of Pillar 1 partners regarding all the issues. The duration of this activity is the whole duration of LIPRI, M1 to M60, and the partners involved are the two tax leaders, ENR and Ministry of Algeria, and the contributors are all the agencies participating to the Pillar 1 activities. Next. So in fact, in terms of milestones, we have the first milestones in this working package 2, which is, I should say, which was the launch of the first call, since it's already done. And the following milestones are the 3 workshops that will gather at the level of the whole LIPRI, as it has been presented this morning by KBB at the months 21, 45, and 61. And last but not least, at the end of this year, after the result of the first call, we will have to decide if we have to launch a second call or not. Next slide. So the first task of working package 2, task 2.1, is setting up the call steering committee. I put in green all these activities because they are already completed. Task leader are again ENR and MESRS. It was supposed to be done on the first 3 months, and it has been done. So it was to set up the core steering committee, the committee which gather all the agencies, to define the Pillar 1 calls governance, structures, and operating rules, the coordination of the communication action of the confundant calls, and the decision on EC allocation top-up. I just say, as I presented shortly this morning, that we have a European Commission top-up, and we, as call steering committee, have to decide how this EC contribution will be allocated between projects and regarding several rules. I will not enter in the details of these rules. After this first core steering committee meeting, which happened in October as a kickoff meeting of Pillar 1, we had several meetings of the core steering committee. About every month, we gather between agencies in order to prepare the call, of course, but also to fix the rules for the international review panel, etc. I should say, because it has been said this morning, but to explain, we began the activities of Pillar 1 earlier than the rest of the activities, before the 1st of January, because we think that it was important to have the result of the first call before the end of 2021, in order for agencies who committed some budget for the call to be able to use it if they want at the end of the year. I mean, to contract with the partners before the end of the year. So that's why we began earlier than the rest. Next one, Marie-Laure. So after this first task of governance setting, we had in the working package 2 a task about administration and financial management with the same task leader, and the contribution of Loughborough University and DSI. This run on the whole period and duration of LIPRI, and it covered all the administrative issues regarding Pillar 1, the administration and financial management of the joint call, also the joint call secretariat, as I mentioned already, will design and implement management tools such as call plannings, quality plan, KPIs, risk management, etc. And this task is involving also international communication management, day-to-day management of the Pillar 1, periodic reporting, co-coordination and consolidation of annual cost claims by all projects partners, because you know that EC is also funding the activities of the agencies, monitoring project cost in order to predict, oversee and control the cost incurred and grant funding, to prepare the guidance of working package 1, coordinate with the Pillar 1 project, and oversight of the application of the consortium agreement for Pillar 1. We have also in this task to support the individual partners on specific administrative and financial issues. Again, I recall that each agency will apply its own rules. And
excuses, je rencontre quelques problèmes.
Also, the activities of this working package is to liaise with the PMB and for any relevant issues. And I specify that Loughborough University in this task will be specifically in charge of the administrative and financial management of beneficiaries from African countries not represented by a national agency in the co-steering committee, as we already said. Next one. Yes, thank you, Marie-Laure. The third task is about technical coordination. We have the same task leader, ENR and MESRS, and the contributors are Loughborough University and DSI. This task will coordinate the Pillar 1 implementation in terms of technical issues, drafting the detailed work plan for the pillar, planning and organization of Pillar 1 governance structures, all the meetings we have, developing management framework to support the Pillar 1 governing structures, to coordinate and create linkage among all the working package of LIPRI and the Pillar 1 activities. It has been mentioned this morning regarding Pillar 4 and 5. Monitoring activities, result and risk assessment, preparing the technical report and deliverables, implement the quality control, monitor the application of gender action, to support the established of the information review, the evaluation of the co-fund, and to provide input to potential future calls, since we will have to decide that at the end of the year. Next one. And the last task force in this working package 2 will be regarding communication flows. Of course, it will be focused on the communication specific to Pillar 1. First, the international communication within the pillar itself and the international review panel, since this panel will be in operation next month. We have to ensure efficient communication with other pillars and the LIPRI community, and we should represent Pillar 1 and its partner and liaise with the PMB and on case by case in accordance with the coordinators with the European Commission and third parties. The co-leadership between ANR and MESRS will ensure joint ownership of the calls. It will also facilitate on the ground contacts with African European stakeholders. And so, as you see, this is a very global coordination task of this for this working package within Pillar 1. Now we'll have the 2 pillars specifically dedicated to the calls, presented by Mokhtar for the first one and by Marie-Laure for the last one. So I give the floor to Mokhtar, but maybe it's Marie-Laure who gives the floor.
Well, I think you did it very well, so Mokhtar.
Just to give you an idea about how we are proceeding about managing the calls and selecting research and innovation projects. Slide. Globally, the objectives of this page are first and launch one or more transnational calls with mission funding, as find one or more, to the call evaluation with scoring, ranking, funding. The third task is to manage the two-stage evaluation process, the EU and national checks, to manage international peer review, and to also that it will give us more opportunity to discuss. Is to contracting arrangement between selected projects and their funding parties. The duration is, as mentioned, we begin in October for 60 months. The partners involved are already presented. Next slide, please. Except as I mentioned later, SANIDI is under process, is not yet formally of the group. Next slide. The steps are obvious. And I want to give you what I mentioned as completed actions since one meeting. It means October. First, to joint establishment of thematic priority. Just to recall that we are in line with the multi-annual roadmaps already discussed and presented. The duration of the projects are between 12 and 36 months. The pronouncement call was already launched in 15 October. The task 7.2 is to the design and the preparation of the first co-funded call. So that's what we do after having organizing a meeting with the funding agency, asking them to specify if they have national eligibility criteria, and of course they have some, and we explained in the document what are their qualities, and even about TRL, what level of TRL. It's some agencies have specified 2, 3, 4, 6, and so on. The task 7.3 is the providing the electronic tool system of there, which Mazana managed, and now Marie-Laure is this system. Then I implemented the portal for submission, and we said this morning that we have already approximately 80 submission under process. The task set the launch of the call, then it was done, and again I mentioned that we had many meetings, and in the same time we are still providing some explanation for participants who are preparing proposals. We are running now the process in task 7.5 to identify the national panel with more than 50 experts, and put a special template to have information about their skills regarding the different marks, regarding the experience with the European project, with the international project, and so on. This template was filled by a certain number of colleagues, of participants. We can have an idea about from their origin in the next slide. It's and briefly, you have just the electronic submission portal developed by the ANR, and about the review panel we have from Denmark, France, Uganda, Spain, Germany, UK, Ghana, Morocco, Algeria, Portugal, South Africa, and Namibia. The number is defined. We insist that we can't have than 4 experts from one funding agency. And okay, next slide. I think this information were already discussed this morning. About the national most about the evaluation criteria are known. We insist on scientific excellence, on impact, and the quality and the efficiency of the implementation. The process will be organized after then the evaluation of the project by the review panel. Ranking list will be established, and we'll consider it as a recommendation by funding agencies. We are encouraging to involve both academic, industrial organization, and non-governmental organization. And to have a look to the eligibility criteria and so on, depending on the countries. LIPRI Joint Call 2021 supports gender equality of the general policy of the European community, but even in the African community, to have a balance, if possible, when possible, about gender equality. Therefore, should consider gender equality whenever possible. Next slide. Is it displayed, Mario? I don't see it.
You don't see it?
Okay, okay.
Well, it should.
I can continue if it's displayed. We can continue because. Anyway, I will continue that. Then we explained the process that we defined the 2 steps for selection system. And then we have the submissions process, a pre-selection, and after the second stage, the full selection, and to arrive to final selection. The agenda was already explained, and we hope that in September, 15 September will be the deadline for the full proposal submission. By 30, we hope and do our best to communicate full proposal assessment, so that to allow to agencies to plan the beginning of the project in 2021. And of course, 2022. The 7-8 is regarding the funding decision and the use of the EU contribution by selecting application will be asked to sign funding contract with the respective national or regional funding agencies, and of course by the team for the request to the European Commission for the top-up. The following is 7.9 for the implementation of possible second call, co-fund call. The situation will be more clear after the first results of this the first series of proposal, but it's expected we'll have a second call with which will respect the same process. Next slide, please. The slide mention just the deliverables. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 deliverables in Pillar 1, sorry. And just to say that we already put it on the portal, the 3 first deliverables, which are the call texts, the call documents, and of course, of using the electronic submission tool. Last slide. In the last slide, just to mention some risk assessments. There's hypotheses, especially based on the reaction and on the analyze with the different scientists who plan to propose and receive some queries by email. And the first thing I noticed personally is that people are not aware of the call texts. I mean, they don't really go into detail. They don't defend the information we are dispatching, we are explaining, and many questions are, for example, Is it possible to have two African countries but who don't have funding agencies? We said no, because we already defined criteria that at least between the African partners, you must have at least one funding agency and so. And I just maybe it's not excluded that we'll have some proposal who are not aware with the criteria of the submission in the pre-proposal. And I know later after the first result, another information is that there is many confusion in the area, and that people are asking that have they don't have funds to have funds, especially for some countries. They are asking, where is the budget for Uganda? Where is the budget for Kenya? Where is the budget for etc. We explain that they have just to read the documentation, to read to see the context. That's the question I want to share with you regarding the work package 7, and I will come back later if you have some questions. Maria?
Okay, thank you, Mokhtar. Yes, thank you very much. So I realized I didn't introduce myself, I think. So I'm Marie-Laure Tarot. I'm working also at INR with François Moisan. So now I will introduce work package 8, which is monitoring of call output.
Problem?
Can you hear me?
Yes, very well.
Yeah. Okay, I continue. So work package 8 is about monitoring of call outputs on projects. So the objective of this pillar are to assess the output of the first co-phone call, so number of project topics covered on allocated funding. So decide whether to implement or not a second co-phone call, define project monitoring indications that fulfill national.
Problem. So I let you continue, and maybe I will try to reconnect again if it's from my side.
Okay, yeah, maybe you can. Okay, so that's a problem with internet. Sometimes it's not working. So I was saying, decide whether to implement or not a second co-phone call, define project monitoring indications that fulfill national, regional, on Horizon 2020 criteria, monitor project progress and report, and perform project evaluation. So this duration is during all the LIPRI programs. So the task leader are ANR and MERS, with the contribution of all the funding agencies, so to be confirmed for SANEDI, as we told before. So I will go briefly because a lot of tasks are already presented or are also in cooperation with other work package. So we will decide if we found or not a second call. So using the same methodology, if we launch a second call, that's the methodology used for the work package 7, just presented before by Mokhtar. So we will have to monitor their scientific and financial implementation. Researchers will be required to submit during the proposal stage expected outputs. And report will be expected to include evidence of impact. So this information will be used with the work pillar 4, so work package 4 under the pillar 3. We will have to also, in task 8.1, define the indicator to assess the first co-phone call. So the task leader as the task leader of Pillar 1 with some contribution of two other agencies. So the indicator of this first co-fund call will be considered by the call steering committee since its first meeting on namely the amount of national regional commitment pooled, the part of the European contribution spent, the number of projects, and also the distribution in terms of countries and topics. So with this information, we can decide or not to launch a second call. And it should be a consensus between all the agencies before launching this call, of course. So after it's in accordance with other work package, so define indicator for monitoring and evaluation of the project. So as you can see here, it's other task leader. So it's more not at the beginning of the project. So we have to find a list of indicators to be defined in accordance with work package 5 to monitor and evaluate to monitor and evaluate the co-fund project. So the call steering committee will contribute to development of the monitoring and evaluation indicator relevant to the objective or LEAP3 on co-fund project. So 3 indicators will be elaborate, scientific and technical results, economic effect, and transnational benefits. And the focus will be put on assessing the contribution of project to capacity building. So the selected indicators will be embedded in the design of reporting form procedure to be used in the follow-up of monitoring of project fund under the co-fund. And after it will be used, as I mentioned, by work package 5. So the task 8.4 is reporting on monitoring procedure with which is more after also. So the project coordinator will be notified to do a reporting, and it's also already mentioned, of course, in the call. Astra, for example, will be published. And we will do a kickoff meeting of the selected project on a mid-term review seminar. So it will be done in cooperation with work package 4. And for the mid-term review evaluation panel, we will also ask some members of the international review panel to come and evaluate the report's progress and prepare a short written report to the call steering committee to have some feedback. After, for the task 8.5, scientific impact and assessment of co-fund projects. So it's more at the end of the program, as I told before. So we will evaluate the impact of the co-fund call by assessing all funded projects. We will do a scientific evaluation of project funded by Pillar 1 in coordination with the project coordinator and in cooperation with work package 4. So, as I told before, an evaluation panel will perform a scientific assessment of those projects. On the final report of co-fund project will summarize the monitoring, evaluation, and impact assessment result. So this report will be presented to the call steering committee and will be used in support with work package 4 and 6 for long-term impact, and it will include the final report to the European Commission. So thank you very much for your attention, and now we will we will answer to the question you might have asked, and I will stop sharing my screen. So I can see one question on the chat. Will you have common reporting template for assessment of technical progress of the report? So about the projects.
Maybe I could try to respond to Bernardo, since of course we will have a common template to report on the project advancement. Now we have to take into account that we may have some more scientific projects and some other projects close to innovation. So of course the template will be unique, but we may have some adaptation from the project leaders to report depending on the nature of the project to be implemented. But we will look to have a common template, yes.
Okay, and we also had a remark, comment, sorry. So we must make sure that all the projects funded understand they are also following obligation of Horizon 2020.
And the communication issues regarding the fact that European Commission is funding the whole process, yes.
Yeah. I think I don't see any other questions. Well, just maybe if some are popping up. So as my colleagues told yesterday, we are at about 85. Ideas to applicants, and now it's almost 100. Well, we can't know if all will be eligible or not, but we can see a big increase of applicants because we are close to the deadline. Okay, well, I think we already
maybe
talk about the comment
to conclude,
yes.
Marie-Laure, maybe we could decide that we will close the submission portal on 1st of April, so in 9 days from now. It will take us some days sometimes to make some summarize the applications. What we could propose is to have a communication toward all the members on the first result, the first numbers of the received applications. But you should be aware that we will have to check the eligibility, since I think since the process was quite complex with the rules of fundings and the rules of eligibility of each funding agency, in order to have a complete vision of how many projects are eligible, and then it will go to the International Review Panel for evaluation. So you noted that the date of decision, which will be taken by the funding agencies for the full submission, is mid-June. So in mid-June, we will be aware in capacity to set to all the applicants to the pre-submission if they are proposed to full submission in September. And just to precise, the pre-submission is about 6-page description, so it's a very short description of the project, and the full description in September will be about 30 pages. So it's of course a much more precise. Okay, there is another one.
Yes, we have a question. I would be interested to understand what your rates of success are once you complete the process. Well, I think it's difficult to answer the question right now because we are not. It's the first time we launch this call, so it's difficult to know how many applications we will have eligible. So it will be difficult to have a guessing right now. It was just a comment, okay.
Marilo, I would like just to add regarding the remark of Bernardo. I don't know, Francois, if you already answered to the question regarding the common reporting templates of the analysis of the proposal. All I know, we introduced briefly discussion with agencies. Some agencies, national agencies, have their own rule of selection, but I'm sure we'll have a big work to do is to see the process in each of them, and to finalize. I think a common reporting template for all the projects. Francois, what do you think about it?
Yes, of course, and it was I was mentioned to the question of Bernardo. Yes. Okay.
And we have one other question on the chat I can see right now. Does the proposal mean the concept few pages, for example, 5?
As I said, for the pre-submission, what we ask is a 6-page description of the project. So it's a very short description, and we are expecting for those who will be selected to fulfill the full submission to have 30 pages. It's just the size of the description, so it will be much more developed in the second phase. Okay.
Okay, I can't see any other questions, so I think we will leave the floor to our next colleagues. And
thank you, Marilo. It was great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so can you hear me? Manuela?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Anne. As I introduced myself earlier, I'm from Strathmore University, and together with Polimi, Strathmore is managing Pillar 2. So this is a summary of Pillar 2 coordination, which is Work Package 3, which is, as the name suggests, doing coordination of all Pillar 3 projects, all Pillar 2 projects. Sorry for that. So Work Package 3 aims at ensuring a smooth and timely implementation of all the 8 work packages. Objectives of this work package is to assure the quality and efficiency and smooth implementation of the 8 work packages, provide an enabling environment to promote synergies and strategies of coordination across the different 8 work packages. So this means that across the work packages, we're anticipating that there's going to be synergies between different ones, and we hope and we'd like to create kind of an environment where these work packages can work together instead of duplicating efforts, and then to guarantee connections with the PMB and the needed incoming and outgoing flow of information between the pillars and scientific guidance to support valorization of outcomes at the LIPRI level. So Emanuela, if you will have anything to add, you can definitely jump in as we go. So the expected results of this work package is we are here to assist with the implementation of the work packages in Pillar 2. And we're also here to increase the synergies among the work packages. As I've mentioned, that there's bound to be a lot of synergies across. I think we're going to mention some of them in a later presentation, some of them being capacity building, also research and innovation, and then increased visibility of AU-EU science and cooperations. There's some publications we anticipate will be done, a special issue of the PRI, and a few other things there. Then the task 1 of this work package is on research, innovation, and scientific coordination. So as part of this, this task comprises of 2 complementary activities aimed at supporting research and innovation coordination among the 8 work packages. So there's the governance, which is definition of Pillar 2 board of governance, organization of meetings, and identification of a strategy for sharing information. Then there's scientific support to Pillar 2. So mapping opportunities, including the said synergies that we have mentioned, and journal publications, and identifying strategies for scientific dissemination. Work package 3, task 3.2. The aim of this task is to capitalize on the research and innovation assets represented in Pillar 2. The leaders, I'm not mentioning them because they are written there, and you'll have access to this presentation afterwards. I'm also rushing through because we'd like to give the Pillar 2 projects a chance to also speak to the work that they're doing. So the mapping of the research, the actions under this task is mapping of research and innovation assets that are represented in by Pillar 2 partners. So there's the research infrastructure, there's scientific and technological needs, there's horizontal skills for capacity building. Then action 2 is guidelines for empowering strategies, empowering synergies about research capacity. So this is comparing the mapping with relevant grey scientific literature, preparing guidelines and recommendations document, and also draft program for the winter summer schools. So as you can see that this task specifically has a lot of synergies with work package 4, which was presented earlier by our colleagues Melissa and Kibibi. So those are the deliverables. So task 3.3 is monitoring and evaluation. Again, this is a task where it has synergies with work package 5, monitoring and evaluation. So this will form the framework, and guidelines designed in work package 5, and a M&E plan for Pillar 2 will be designed and implemented within each of the 8 work packages. So the actions, of course, are monitoring the Pillar 2 work package activities and formulation of guidelines for proper evaluation system for Pillar 2 work packages. So just to explain, in terms of the synergies, you'll find that similar to the way Polimi and Strathmore are in work package 4, Polimi and Strathmore are also represented in work package 5, task 5.1, which is monitoring and evaluation. So there's going to be synergies also across this task. Deliverables are as shown. So this is just a map of, we're trying to show the interactions of Pillar 2 with other work packages. So Pillar 2 itself, Pillar 2 coordination acts as a linkage between Pillar 2 itself and Pillar 3 and the rest of the consortium. Interactions with other work packages, as I've mentioned earlier, there is work package 4, which is very closely related to task 3.1. So that's the scientific dissemination strategy for Pillar 2, which will be designed and agreed and implemented by the 8 work packages. That's linked to work package 4. Also, framework and guidelines designed in work package 5, that's the monitoring and evaluation, which will be designed and implemented also by each of the 8 work packages. And the strategy will be shared by work package 5. And then identification of the winter summer schools, again, work package 4. This is going to be core for identification structure, valorization of capacity building, especially which comes next. So the information on current capacity, building and training activities, which is what within each of the work package 9 to work package 16. So this is valorization of the impact of each capacity building activities. So the reason why we keep mentioning capacity building is because we do anticipate that there'll be a lot of synergies across different work packages with regards to capacity building needs. An example I'd say would be you're going to see quite a significant amount of modeling happening in different work packages. I'll let the pillar coordinators take care of that. The work package coordinators. Then we have held 2 meetings so far, and we hope, as you're going to see also in the risks, this is going to be something that we'll do a lot in the coming future, because this is one way to mitigate against one of our major risks. Yeah, and then this is the actions. This is our Gantt chart. So there's the management board meetings, there's the, especially the identification and formulated publication strategy, which is a deliverable that is, coming up soon. And there's guidelines and recommendations for empowering research capacity. Then the risks, as I mentioned, one of the uncertainties of this project, given that it was designed before the COVID-19 pandemic, is the COVID-19 pandemic itself. So we hope to use a lot of virtual meetings to mitigate against any misunderstandings or any gaps that might arise from, lack of physical meetings. And then there's lack of alignment from some partners and complexity impacting delivery and limited interaction with other WPs. And in this case, we see regular work package meetings and also regular meetings between the work package leaders and the work package meetings with the work package leaders themselves as something core to this work package. So I'm going to end there and give my colleague Emanuela any chance to comment or say something.
Thank you, Anne. I don't think we need to comment further. I just want to make a logistic note. This session will last 1 hour and 45 minutes, and we will have 2 sessions of Q&A. So we will listen for work package leader introducing their work package, and then we will make a first break for Q&A, and then we will proceed with the second one. So the floor is back to you. One thing, sorry, I will give you an alert when 2 minutes are missing, so that you are informed. That's my role. Back to you, Anne.
Okay, I've stopped sharing. So the next presenter is work package 9 leader. That's Daniele Fiasci. Daniele, floor to you.
Thank you, Anna. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
May I share my screen?
Yeah, you share your screen.
Okay, I will do. Okay, a window, and this should be the window. Okay, can you see my presentation? Is it okay?
No, yeah, now, yes.
Now, yes? Okay?
Yeah.
May I start? Okay. Thank you for the introduction, and I'm going to present the work package 9, named Geothermal Atlas for Africa, acronym GAA, and I am Daniele Fiaschi, responsible for this task under UNIFI Group, and I'm glad also to introduce other main components of the group, who are Professor Manfrida, and Dr. Lorenzo Talluri, and Dr. Claudio Zuffi. And first, a short introduction to BP9. BP9 has a duration from month 7 to month 42. The partners involved are a high number, 20. Probably it's the most crowded BP in the whole project, or among the ones. And UNIFI is the leader, and there are another 20 partners, plus we are trying to recover the excluded ones. Probably you know the issue and the story. Because of a missing peak, who are IGA ARB, UY1, NGen, UNEP. Which are the main objectives of the VP? The main objectives are the definition and location of low to high enthalpy geothermal resources for the development of electricity production, but not only, also heat and cold use, and the application also to water use. It is based on three basic approaches: the geoscientific one, the engineering technological approach, and also the social aspect. The results will be collected in the final outcome of the VP, which is the Geothermal Atlas for Africa. But very important, this VP will also include the research, mobility and capacity building, and the dissemination and stakeholder engagement. Sorry. Okay. Which are the milestone and outcomes? These are the milestone and outcomes: the collection of geological information, so geological part at 360 degrees, including structural, geochemistry, hydrogeology, geophysics, and so on. Then the geothermal energy RES grid integration and the identification of geothermal system existing or made in preparation for the delivery of electricity, the identification and mapping of direct use of heat and cold, then the analysis of socio-economic aspects, and the identification of cases of geothermal and renewable energy development across Africa, and then finally it all will be gathered in the interpreted and homogenized in the Geothermal Atlas for Africa. Finally, the organization of research, mobility, and training program on geothermal energy will be carried out and will be an important part of this task. The effort sharing here, I tried to outline somehow, but it is still under review. And I laid on the GA, on the official document of grant agreement, and also there is some mistake that we discovered in the last days, and regarding the number of PMs of UDSM. It was wrong because of a wrong calculation of costs. So we have also to revise the numbers on the grant agreement, just to be concise and short. Then let's move a bit inside to each task. First one, 9.1, is geosciences. That is coordinated by GFZ under the responsibility of Egbert Joly and Balemwala Aknafo of AAU. Sorry for my bad pronounce. I don't stay here to read all the other participants, elsewhere I will take 1 hour. The duration is from month 7 to 36, and the objective is the collection of characteristics of geothermal results across Africa by geologic, the thermodynamic and geochemistry approach. The methodology is the systematic data collection and management categorization. Then the use of existing internationally acknowledged platforms like IGA, AGID, GTP, and so on. Finally, the expected results are the catalog of geosciences related information, and then the transcontinental map of geothermal resources. The deliverable 9.2 is foreseen at month 36 under the responsibility of GFZ. Then task 9.2 is the engineering science task, led by UNIFI under my responsibility and co-led by CDER, then other partners, and the duration is from month 7 to 36, and the objective is the characterization of surface installation and potential use of geothermal energy, both for electricity, but also for heat and cold production. The methodology is the assessment of connection to existing databases and information systems, gathering data from accredited sites, like, for example, the Unite one, and also modeling economic and environmental impact of the proposed energy solutions. The task expected results are a collection of data on the availability and population needs in regard of surface installation and their potential use for exploitation of geothermal energy, the analysis of existence, local or national grid infrastructures for the dispatchment of electricity, for example, South would be the onset one, also with focus on microgrids. And then the assessment of medium to low geothermal energy sources and direct use of heat and cold. Then the deliverable 9.3 will be at month 36 under the responsibility of UNIFI. Then task 9.3, the social sciences task, led by UON and under the responsibility of Joseph Ongala, from month 7 to month 36, and based on socioeconomic analysis and analysis of best practices to integrate the geothermal atlas for Africa and promote a virtuous and sustainable development. The methodology and approach is in-depth interview, questionnaires, and gathering of primary information on success failures of the project. Then socioeconomic analysis will be based again on existing documents available at both national and international level. And then the identification of cases of geothermal and potentially renewable energy in order to provide a collection and practice implemented by various sectors. The expected results, outcomes about best practices to integrate into the geothermal atlas with socioeconomic
I'm sorry, 2 minutes left.
Sorry?
2 minutes left.
Yes. Okay, the deliverable 9.4 is for assessment of the economic. Then task 9.4, which is the implementation of the atlas, the main outcome of the BP9, the duration from 9 to 42 months. It will use all the available information from the previous tasks, and the methodology will be the collection, homogenization, interpretation of the previous data, and the integration of it with local needs in order to come out with the geothermal atlas for Africa at month 42. And important, task 9.5, the research mobility and capacity building, led by IEG, Isabella Nardini and Elisa Antenciu from EDSM at month 7 to 42. And the methodology is the capacity training needs that will be developed, as well as the knowledge gap and specific training needs, trying to address training programs. And then the expected outcomes are the research mobility, courses on geothermal energy across Europe and Africa, and the capacity building. The reporting is due at month 42 under the responsibility of IEG and ESM. Finally, task 9.6, the project management that is structured in compliance with the other BPs of Pillar 2, with the project coordination aspect, project monitoring aspects, and project reporting aspects. I also outlined some ideas, but I don't stay here to read. And then I would like to stress about the importance of Atlas concept from the media. Just yesterday, you probably know that it was the Water Day. And on an important Italian newspaper, an article came out asking how much water is there really in Africa's aquifers. We need a map of water resources. The concept of map and atlas is very important. This article notified about the recent scientific article, which was coordinated by BGS, who is as well a partner of LEAP-RE. I go rapidly to the conclusion. The interactions with other VPs are here outlined. Our actions are reporting about scientific production, reporting out about knowledge sharing, reporting out about monitoring activities and standardization of procedures for an effective management of contractual and financial issues. And then we have also done some works at UNIFI in the first month about the characterization of Kenya's needs and Kenya's electricity distribution network. We are working in progress about actions to be done in the first 6 months and some guidelines. There are unfortunately also some open issues, like, for example, the total efforts and the definition and correct distribution of PMs, the manageability of a very large consortium with 20 partners plus possibly 3 or 4 to be reintegrated. And also I would like to point out the need of a definition of an effective platform for communication. So I can only say that we had a meeting last Friday with the coordinator, project officer, and UNIFI, GFZ, and TNO to trying to address one of the main issues of BP9, which is the reintegration of the excluded partners. And we had 3-4 options, and we are waiting for discussing internally with our respective administration. And we are planning, this morning we exchanged some mails with GFO, with GFZ and TNO. We are planning to have a meeting on next Friday afternoon in order trying to come up to a conclusion, to a final decision. I could stop here. Thank you for your attention. I don't go into the risk assessment because I mainly have taken them. Thank you for your attention.
Okay.
And a few minutes more.
Okay, thank you so much. Next should be Ignatius Maranga from Mr. Ignatius Maranga from Strathmore. Presenting. Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. So Ignatius is the leader of Work Package 10.
Daniele, you can exit the stage also.
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
So is my screen visible?
Super.
Okay, so my name is Ignatius Maranga. As introduced me, I work at Strathmore University in the Energy Research Center. So I'm a researcher and an engineer in the center. So I'm also the lead of this, Strathmore University is the lead of this Work Package 10 called PURAMS, which is a productive use in rural African markets using standalone solar. Okay, so mainly in this project, we'll have 3 countries that are involved in these countries, and why we selected these countries is for this reason. So the first country is Mozambique. So hello, yes.
Can you put it in presentation mode, or have you already started presenting?
I have, yes.
Oh, okay. Then I have a lag. Okay, sure.
Okay. So as I was saying, the first country is Mozambique. And as you see, Mozambique, 96% of the population uses solid fuels, and you have around 12,000 deaths per year caused by hazardous air pollution, Same to Rwanda, you have big numbers, large population still uses solid fuels, same as Kenya. So this is why we're focusing on these three countries. So we propose to come up with a solar-powered cooker, electric cooker, that will have the capability to boil, as most of the foods also prepared in these countries through boiling, have baking, grilling, and frying. So to accommodate all these different cuisines. Now to introduce the work package, the main objectives are first to do an off-grid market assessment of solar cooking, solar resource assessment, and to enable cooker design and capacity assessment to support piloting of these systems. Then we will develop a standalone solar cooker that aims to solve these problems. Then we'll identify business models and engage policymakers to create an enabling environment. Then we'll implement the perovskite technology in silicon solar cooking devices to enhance the efficiency, but maintaining the robustness. So the expected results are to create a guideline and define the best practices of solar-powered clean cooking in African contexts. Then another result will be to create an accurate database of clean cooking technologies used in African countries. And lastly, to create a solar-powered cooking device. But of course, maybe we have other results, we'll add them here. And the main milestone will be is the launch of the projects. Month 6. Okay, so breaking down to the tasks individually, the first task will be resource assessment and business model development. And the contributing partners are LNEG, Strathmore University, ASG, REREC, UEM, and UCO. And the main tasks, the main activities of this task are a demand assessment and development of load profiles. So also coming up with the time of use and resource availability assessment, the break-even, payback, and other cost assessments, then assessment of consumer ability to pay, and the development of the business model. And the deliverables, there are 2 deliverables that are attached to this task, and this will be standalone cooking appliances, appliance design metrics, and a business model for standalone cooking appliances. So the second task is productive use, so standalone cooking and piloting, and Strathmore University will be the leaders. And you also have other contributing partners. And this task aims to develop standalone cooking appliance, and the analysis done in task 1 will feed to this task. Okay, and these are some of the activities that will be involved in this task. First one is to evaluate existing standalone solar cooking appliances that are there in the market in these 3 countries. Then selection of the best technology for development. Hello?
Sorry, Ignatius.
Yes.
I can see the same. People are saying the same thing, that the slides are static. The slides will be shared at the end, so we should be able to access them. Thank you, guys. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I should stop sharing and start sharing again.
No worries. We'll just share the presentation later.
Okay. So the as I was saying, the second task. Some activities, some other activities that I haven't mentioned. So I think I mentioned design of a standalone cooking appliance. Then we'll have an yes.
Yeah, it seems so. Just press the press the
I've
present
stopped
button.
sharing.
Yes. Okay. Sorry, I thought it was just me.
Okay, so share screen, application window, share. Can you see my screen?
Yes, but it's still very small for me. I don't know if someone can make it a bit bigger. And then I just put it in slide mode. Yeah.
Can you see it in slideshow now?
Just not really a slideshow. Just click
I've
the final.
I've clicked it in slideshow. Tell me if you can see it in slideshow.
No, we're still seeing the really small thing. So can you click the final slide, not the one that you're at right now, the next one?
Okay. Can you see it?
Computer.
Yeah, I've clicked the next slide.
Incidentally, you should click on reading. You click on reading mode.
Oh, I'm a bit confused.
No, sorry. Just
Reading view. Okay.
yeah.
Can you see it now?
Good. Yeah.
Okay. So it's visible now. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. So so I was here. So the next activity in this task. Sorry, I was mentioning the task activities we'll have in the second task, and one other one is integration of a hybrid perovskite solar panel for the standalone cook stove. Then testing and design iteration of standalone solar cooking appliances, and development of standalone cooking appliance and piloting of standalone cooking appliance. So the deliverables in this task will be the first design of a standalone cooking appliance, a prototype of standalone cooking appliance, and a report on field testing of the solar cooking appliance. Okay, then the third task is market capacity assessment and policy environment, which will be led by AESG in Rwanda. And this task aims to ensure social compatibility of the appliance with the market. Okay? Identify capacity gaps that need to be addressed before piloting, and engage policymakers to enable buy-in at policy level. So some of the activities in this task will be social and behavioral analysis related to developed product, assessment of buyer willingness to pay and product usability, then engagement with policymakers, mapping of product value chain and capacity needs assessment, then also marketing methods for the developed appliances. And there are two deliverables linked to this task. One of them will be a report on policy, legislative, and regulatory environments, and the other will be a report on value chain and social factors. Okay, then the fourth task, which will be led by UCO, is perovskite development and comparative analysis. So the main reason, the main aim of this task will be to synthesize, characterize, and fabricate a stable, high efficient, cost-effective solar cell based on hybrid, organic, inorganic halide perovskite material. And some of the activities will be a research on perovskite material, field testing of perovskite photovoltaics, and piloting on standalone systems developed appliances. So the deliverables will be a progress report on performance of perovskite cells in lab conditions, and a report on field performance of perovskite cells on standalone systems. Now the
last 2 minutes, sorry.
Okay, thank you. Grazie. The last task will be project management and dissemination. So Strathmore University is the leader also in this task. We have other partners, and the management activity is developed in accordance and with coordination with Work Package 3, and in synergy with other work packages constituting in the Pillar 2. Okay, so this task will coordinate and supervise the project activities among the partners and within the tasks. It will also monitor quality and timing results, delivery, carry out the overall administrative and financial management of the project, and disseminate the obtained results. So finally, the risk assessment. So we identified 3 risks so far. One of them will be a lack of availability of data. And so we plan to look for, if this occurs, I mean, the impact will be medium. Likelihood is low, but if this occurs, we seek to get alternative or parallel methods of obtaining data. Then a rejection of the new solar powered cookers by the target communities, whose likelihood is also low. But then to prevent this, we aim to create awareness on the importance of solar powered electric cookers through workshops and consultative meetings. One other risk would be challenges in quality testing of solar powered cookers. So we look at preventing this. We will select accredited labs to carry out quality testing of the solar powered cookers. Thank you very much.
Okay, so the next presenter is Sorry, I need to find.
The next presenter, Anna can support it. It's Gerard from University
work
of Lorraine.
package, yeah.
Work package 11.
Data, Gerard Dives.
I try to share my presentation, but we try it just before, and I think Nicolette have it and can present the document. Do you?
Yeah, Nicolette, can you join us and share?
Yes, here I am.
Thank you, Nicolette.
I'll share it on your behalf, Yves.
Many thanks, Nicolette.
My pleasure. Hop. Écran 2.
Okay. I present you the work package about the Geothermal Village project. I am Yves Géraud from the Lorraine University. I am a geologist, and I try to do a summary of our project. The first part, yes, is about objective and partners. Please, the next. Our objective in this project is to propose some guideline to build a geothermal-based standalone electric and thermal energy system, mainly for off-grid African community. The objective is based on the acquisition of the entire geothermal value chain with resource exploration, resource exploitation, societal acceptance, and local economic development. In the framework of this project, we want to develop each element of this value chain. The next one, please. Our partners are from different countries of Europe. For the French part, Université de Lorraine, Université de Bretagne Occidentale, to work on more or less geophysical and geological aspect. We can have the collaboration with Addis Ababa University, Nairobi University, and some colleagues of SEPCO from the Rwanda and from the Djibouti for more or less technical aspect. For the societal aspect, the university working on are University of Torino and Santa Ana University, and they work in collaboration mainly with the Kenyan University, Nairobi University. For the surface development, the driver are NORCE, with a colleague in SEPCO and EDC. And for the geochemical aspect, the Fraunhofer could drive the project with some aspects for the ORC development. Jacques Varret with Geo2D, what is as the basis of the project and contribute to the geological and societal aspects. The next one, please. In the framework of this project, we want to analyze 4 targets, one in Djibouti Republic, one in Ethiopia, the other in Rwanda, and the last in Kenya. And we want to analyze the different value, geothermal value and project value for each target, and with the support of the local colleagues, as well for the geological and societal aspect. The next one. Now we want to move on the timetable, and our project is divided on 7 tasks. We have 3 main tasks for the 2 main tasks for the T1 and T2 for the analysis of the geological and societal aspect of the project, and we want to develop, to acquire some data about geological and geochemical processes, and we at the end we want to modelize the resources. The T2 project is about the social and local development of application of the geochemical geothermal resources. And the next one, please. And for the T1 and T2, we want to improve the knowledge about the resource, and we want to propose some exploration plan. And for the T2, we want to develop a social and economic study in the aim to reinforce the partnership with the local people, and to have a proposition of development which could be the best for the local population and in agreement with their needs in place. The next one. The second part of the project is about the development of on the site. First, the T3 driver by the North is about conceptualizing the design and engineering of the exploitation of the site with stream condensator or RC sizing we want to develop, and the other application we could propose on the area. And the T4 is about the site feasibility studies, and we want to analyze what could be the best situation to propose a demonstrator on site, and we want to select 2 sites, and for the end we want to prepare a plan to develop this demonstrator on the site. The next one. The last point is very important for us. It's about research mobility and capacity building. We have 2 aspects in this part. First, the mobility and development of the college on the both sides, and we want to develop this partnership for upstream and downstream phases of the project. And this second aspect is about the dissemination of the information with a seminar or webinar, and the interaction of with the other work package, with Connex other work package, mainly the work package 9, 12, and 14. At least we can develop some connection about Connex topic for each of our projects. The next one. Okay, that's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Yves. One round of applause for you, because you kept below 8 minutes, so you didn't need my alert on 2 minutes left.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Anne, are you there? Or did you have any connection trouble? If you have any connection trouble, I'm here to assist. And so I'm just giving the floor to Manfred Hafner from Fondazione Enrico Mattei for presenting work package 12, which is RE4Agri. Thank you, Manfred.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Perfectly.
But I can't, I don't know, I can't share the screen.
You should.
I know. Okay, now I think it works. Okay.
Perfect.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I cannot see you anymore, but I can see the screen as well. Perfect. Thank you so much, Emanuela. Hello to everybody. RE4Agri. This is the short name of our project. The long name is Renewable Energy for African Agriculture. what we aim to do is to combine modeling platforms to address energy access issues in sub-Saharan Africa with very robust business models in order to benefit to the sub-Saharan African communities, and this in order to ensure sustained impact for this project, fostering upscaling and replicability. I'm going to explain you in more depth what I mean. But first of all, why do we think this project is important? First of all, let me tell you that in sub-Saharan Africa, 80% of agricultural production comes from small farmers. You can see them on the right-hand side of the slide. And 90% of the cropland in sub-Saharan Africa is based on rain-fed agriculture, under, of course, unpredictable and often erratic rainfall patterns. Now, this is one of the main causes for the low productivity and also the food insecurity in Africa, combined, of course, also with the low degree of mechanization. Now, this reinforces the persistent poverty trap, triggering, as we know, cyclical famines, and therefore jeopardizing local development opportunities. So it is to address these challenges that we have the need for an agricultural transformation to ensure food security of smallholder farmers of the continent. In other words, and this is, we are moving to the right-hand part of the slide, access to affordable electricity would enable these farmers to pump groundwater, to pump rainwater harvested and stored in underground or surface storage tanks, and to power machineries that could significantly contribute to closing the yield gap. And this is exactly our RE4AF-Agri. This is where we step in. Our aim is to develop an open source, freely available sector support tool that facilitates and streamlines some of what we think is the hardest and most costly process in the implementation of energy access, which is the process of site selection and technology evaluation. This will provide to have a sustainable irrigation and a community-wide renewable electricity. It will allow to increase productivity and local crop processing, and it will use this agriculture as a leverage for the reduction of poverty and inequality. The positive impacts are on many SDGs. It is on the food security, DG2. It is on poverty alleviation, DG1. It is on cleaner water and sanitation, DG6. It is on energy, DG7. It is on socioeconomic development, DG8, and the reduction of rural and gender inequality, DG10 and 5, as well as more generally on the climate action. Now, there are 4 main objectives in our project. One is advancing the energy-water nexus modeling in rural areas of developing countries in order to bridge the gap between large-scale and local-scale frameworks. Second, it is to design business models to implement integrated energy-water solutions through the participation of African businesses, public authorities, and smallholder consortia. This is very important for us because we do not want to to work and to make at the disposal to the African community just modeling tools, which will not be used. We want, in addition to that, together with African realities, together with African stakeholders, develop and make available business models which are adapted to the African context and which will allow this project to act as a multiplier effect for many, many other projects in the future. Of course, we need policy support. And so the third aim is that we need to support the policymakers in establishing the policies that ensure that the business models which we identify, that they can be successfully implemented by the local entrepreneurs, while at the same time meeting technical and environmental requirements. So obviously we need to have a proper institutional framework in place. We need to have a certain set of issues for which we need to communicate not only with the researchers, not only with the entrepreneurs, but also with the policymakers. And all of this is aimed to provide a replicable and scalable modeling infrastructure and business approach in order to exert a tangible impact on the farmers' livelihoods and the broader communities across Africa. And we expect three main results from this. One, a powerful decision support tool in the hand of the African communities and decision makers in order to allow them to select proper sites, to select the technologies, and in order to take into consideration also environmental development and economic implications. Second, to have these robust and business models adapted to the local context, which will allow the project to provide a multiplier effect. And third, of course, to train the African researchers, but also the political decision makers and also the entrepreneurs on the project, the tools and findings in order to ensure a sustained impact of the project. And as I said, fostering upscaling and replicability. The main milestones are high-level scientific publications on the Nexus modeling from design to validation, to have stakeholders' activities to generate suitable business models, but also to make sure that our modeling is well adapted to the local context, to have other training activities in collaboration with local research institutions in order to allow them to continue this work by themselves, working on the local conditions. And finally, obviously, to have a capacity building activities for local networks of decision makers, also on a political, with policymakers.
Less than
now,
2 minutes, Manfred, sorry. Just
2 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. This is our main consortium. We have 2 partners from the European Union and 4 partners from Africa. We have FIM, which is the coordinator. We have IASA, International Institute for Applied System Analysis in Vienna, in Austria, in Europe. And then in Africa, we have the University of Cape Town. We have the TFE Center from Cape Town as well in the Republic of South Africa. And then we have 2 local universities, one in Rwanda and one in Zambia, who will support us in working out in doing the local validation. So since time is short, let me present the structure of the whole project. We have this task number 1, which is about tailoring research methods to African realities. The aim here is to ensure that we all have a clear understanding of the different sub-Saharan African local contexts in order to identify the right questions to be addressed, and making sure that the only solutions that are truly implementable in the rural context are really selected to the benefit of the nexus modeling and of the business development, business model development, which you can see below. Now you have two main pillars: the nexus modeling, which models and validates and calibrates all the modeling platform, which we have talked about, and the business model development, which is also very important because we want to have this multiplier effect I spoke about before. Now, and then we have below that the dissemination and capacity building block with two tasks. One more technical, task number 5. This is more technical, and it is targeted for the researchers on the capacity building on the models. And then we have task 6, which is more targeted to policymakers, entrepreneurs, in order to explain them what we have done, but even more importantly, to convince them that this is very important for the countries, that they help us to diffuse it and to create the right policy support mechanism which we need for those. This is the Gantt diagram. You can see that some tasks start immediately, the modeling, the business model, and then some others later on. And since time is running out, I will stop here. You can read all the full presentation on the site. The important thing was for me to show you what we do, and I think I could do so in a few slides, and you can read the details on the site. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Manfred. Sorry for pushing.
No problem.
No problem. Maybe Anne, we can have our first Q&A session.
Yeah.
And just if you're okay with this, I've just taken up some of the questions so that we can proceed with the answer. Manfred, don't go away. Stay with us, because the last question that came on the chat is relative to your project. So since you are there, maybe we can start from this question.
Yeah.
And the question
Emanuela,
yep.
Can we also invite the other other presenters to join? Let's invite the other presenters.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Can kindly join as Manfred is answering the question by Bernardo. Yep, Manfred, please proceed.
So the question, Manfred, start with the question while the others are joining. We ask all the work package leaders to join. The first question, which is the last one on the chat, is from Bernardo, and is asking if you have considered the possibility to use PV energy for the cold chain. Small improvement can have significant impact in revenue from time-sensitive crops.
Yes, thank you so much for this input. As a matter of fact, we have not defined so far what are the technologies and what are the applications we need to look. This is exactly this first task which we want to, which is extremely important for us, where we need to understand in detail which are the technologies we want to analyze, which are the applications we want to have. The tools we have, they are extremely flexible. They can address many different approaches and technologies. So in this first task, which I mentioned, this is exactly what we need to do. And I would like to thank you for the question, because the meeting today for us is extremely important, because we learn what different work packages are doing. And we need to understand also synergies which we may have. And I do encourage you to send us emails with ideas if you have so, and we will do the same in order to, through work package 3, in order that we can make sure that we have a lot of synergies on all of that.
Thank you, Manfred. We will also take the responsibility to maximize the synergies together with Anne along with package 3, because during the first 2 meetings that we had, even if it was they were very short and most focusing on management issue, we have already understood that we have a lot of synergy, is either in terms of research, but also in terms, as Anne was saying before, capacity building activities. So we will do that for sure. The second question that I noted is from Bernardo, and was mostly relating to work package 10. So maybe Anne and Ignatius, you can take over it. The question was very similar to one comment already made by the evaluator, which is related to the stability of the perovskite technology. So maybe you can give us some further comments on the question by Bernardo. I don't know if someone is...
It's Ignatius. It's Ignatius on this one. So, yeah.
Hello. I think I can answer this. So thank you for the question. So the thing is, we are looking for a high, the main idea is to look for a high efficiency photovoltaic module for this system. So we just put perovskite there, although we haven't settled for this technology. We are still looking, and the idea is to get a high efficiency PV module for the system. Yeah.
Just to clarify, because I was the one who was part of the team when we started. When we got the comments, I think when we handed over the project to Ignatius, I think he, he's been in conversations with University of Cordoba to try and find either an alternative system or to do away with that entire.
Hear from you.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yeah. So far, I think for the work package, the alternatives are either to find a better technology or to do away with that specific task. But I know that changing of tasks is not an easy thing. So that's been something that I guess Ignatius will need to discuss with the with the team inside the work package itself, since that this is something that we all have to make together.
Thanks, Anne. Yeah.
Yes, we missed Anne on connectivity issues. She advised me. So I have also seen that there is quite a long list of discussion about this topic. So maybe, I don't know, Ignatius, if you have something to add, or Bernardo, if you are satisfied for the moment. I have seen, not having the time yet to read it fully, but it seems to me that you, Bernardo, suggested to have also plan B, and someone else added a comment to be agnostic from the technology point of view at the beginning, and then see what happened. So I think this
I think Bernardo has
also included in the risk analysis. Ignatius,
Bernardo
if you
has
don't have
responded.
anything to add, or if you have anything, please.
Bernardo has responded.
Okay.
If
there are no comments from your side, Ignatius, I also remember that there was another question at the beginning of the session from Bernardo, suggesting us to have a common management approach for all work package in Pillar 2, including exchange of information, templates, progress monitoring, and so on and so forth. And this is precisely what we aim to do together with the work package leaders that are presenting today, for two main reasons. The first one is that together with Anne, we have just stressed many times our intention to facilitate the work of the work package leader, because they have already quite a big work package to deal with, and we want to facilitate their work as much as we can. And the second is that the second point is that we really would like to maximize the uniformity of information that we will be able then to transfer to the rest of the LEAP project. For instance, as we have already discussed, we will have a lot of exchange of information between our pillar and work package 4, but also work package 5. So yes, this is where we aim to go, Bernardo, and probably we also confirm our availability to have a specific dedicated discussion in order to listen your comments, let's say maybe after the kickoff meeting, and we will take all your concerns into deep consideration. So these were the three comments that I took note of. Now the floor is open if there are other questions or there are comments on what we said.
Emanuela, can you hear me?
Yes, can hear you, Anne.
Oh yeah. No, Bernardo has a request on the chat.
Okay, now it's projected another question. Maybe Manfred is for you because it's re for Afri.
Yes, I just answered. We, as a matter of fact, we do not plan to address all technology options. What we plan to do in this first task, which I said is very important, is to figure out what are the most important technologies and applications for the local stakeholders, for the sub-Saharan African context, in order to address then those.
Okay. Thank you, Manfred. I see also there are some other comments. One comment is from Davide Fioriti. You see that there are interesting synergies with the work package in which Davide is also engaged, which is work package 13 that will be soon presented. Yes, there are a lot of synergies. I mean, when I was listening to your speech, I have seen a lot of, and I took a lot of notes so that I think that we can really work for maximizing the work that each of you is doing into the work package, taking into consideration that this work package is not a standalone bubble, but is inserted already within, as it was called this morning, the LIPRI project is a kind of flagship project for the European Commission and the relationship between Africa and Europe. So,
Emanuela, can you hear me now?
Other question.
Emanuela? You can now hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Sure. Sorry.
Thank you, Anne. So I don't see any other comments in the Q&A chat. So maybe we can proceed with the second part of the session. Thank you to all the work package leader, and the floor is back to Anne.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know what's happening with my internet, but Emanuela is here to jump in whenever there's a problem. So I keep removing my video and putting it back on. So the next session is Setadisma, Mr. Eric Tambo, and Ricardo Mireu. Oh, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I think Eric also is joining us as co-leader, and in the meantime, I can share my presentation. Okay, you should see that, right? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. And I start the presentation, then Eric Tambo, the colleague from PAUES, will continue. I'm Riccardo Mireu from Politecnico di Milano, and we are presenting the Work Package 13, that is the sustainable energy transition and the digitalization of smart mini-grids for Africa. So let's say Setadisma is our name. What is our goal in this work package? Our main objective is obviously studying mini-grids from a technical and socioeconomic point of view, and integrate this part with the digital technologies available for mini-grids. So it's a comprehensive study of mini-grids, including main components: the technological research, so the generation part, along with the socioeconomic context of application of the mini-grids in the African context specifically, and along with these two components, to including the digitalization, so the digital technologies that are obviously studied for mini-grids improvement. And we have the fourth part of our project is the capacity building. That is obviously starting from the idea to develop educational training and capacity building for all the topics that we are facing in our VP. The VP, the project is lasting 3 years, so starting, let's say now, this month, and lasting 3 years, and we have 14 partners involved on it, Polimi and Powers, so from Italy and Algeria. Algeria are the leading partner, and then we have, as you can see, partner from Portugal, Germany, Finland, and Italy, of course, and then from Algeria, Rwanda, Kenya, South Africa, Burkina Faso, and Cameroon, for sure. So our package is working obviously to have some results and outcomes that are coming from the idea of create some guidelines and best practice for one side, the mini-grid technology optimization, along with the methodology and for business model and delivery model in order to create 2 main guidelines that are coupled, in this case, with an accurate map of the digital technologies that are supporting the development of the mini-grids for the next future. And we have also a specific focus on one technology that is the micro CSP for local context. And this technology will be not only studied from a theoretical and modeling point of view, but also with a pilot that will be designed and demonstrate will be performed by some partners in our project. And in order to create also some, let's say, material and as an outcome regarding the capacity building, we will involve master student and PhD students in our research activities from the different partners, of course, and then an online training program will be created regarding, from one side, the inclusion of digital technologies for mini-grid, and then also for promoting entrepreneurship and innovation related to the mini-grids. Starting from this introduction, we have 5 tasks in our project. The first one is more focused on technical design and socioeconomic analysis of the mini-grids for application in African context. In this case, the task is divided in, let's say, 3 main actions. One is related with the data collection from existing mini-grid in some contexts like Algeria, Rwanda, and Kenya. And from obviously this data, we will use this data in order to assess the demand and resource and to create and to validate a modeling approach in order to have a tool for studying the development of mini-grids. And at the same time, this kind of activity will be coupled with the design and demonstration of the micro CSP provided and developed by the partner in Burkina Faso. And obviously we have the related deliverable regarding this task. I will give the floor to the colleague, Eric. I don't know if you are online because I know you had some issues.
Yes.
Okay.
I think talking about energy and electricity, we currently have in Cameroon power shortages, and I'm using the battery of my mobile, but I think it will last until the end of the presentation. So the second task that we have in this work package is related to digitalization, open innovation, and entrepreneurship. I think Ricardo have already mentioned the role of digitalization in the overall process in the value chain of mini-grid. And these tasks aim to assess and analyze the current state, opportunity, and challenge of digital technology for mini-grid at the technical and operational system level, but also to support the development of ideas and solution building on the innovative potential of youth in the continent. The contributor to this task are the University of Bologna and the Lund University in Finland, I think, the CDAR in Algeria, and AfriLab, which is the umbrella association of technology and innovation hub in the continent. And in terms of concrete activities on these tasks, we plan to assess and analyze the digital technology for mini-grid at the technical system level, including the generation, storage, distribution, and control, as well as the demand-side management. We plan also to assess and analyze the digital technology for mini-grid at the operational level, including aspects such as finance, operation and maintenance, customer management, and productive use. So after this different assessment, so we will move from the generation ideation process, the generation of ideas, solution, and business case using digital technology in context of mini-grid. And also, we will try to setting up an innovation and a digitalization entrepreneurship ecosystem for smart mini-grid in Africa. In this line, we mean to identify the different actors of the ecosystem, the incubator, the accelerators, and try to bring them together. And what we will also try to do here is to analyze the interaction between these stakeholders and setting up appropriate policy and regulatory framework for smart mini-grid and entrepreneurship. So, and at the end, we will compare innovative digital technology by the means of analysis of launch and LCA. So in terms of concrete deliverable, accurate map of digital technology component and system for mini-grid at the technical system and operational level dedicated to the African needs, and the portfolio of idea, solution, and business case using digital technology in context of mini-grid. So if you can go to the next slide, Ricardo. Ricardo, okay. So the next task is the task 3.3, which will specifically address the business model in a socio-economic context. So the task aims to propose appropriate business delivery and socio-economic model for local development, evaluating and comparing available data for mini-grid system in the off-grid area. Here, the lead partner is the Lund University in Finland, and the contributing partners are the Polimi, University Bologna, UNIP, the Strathmore University, Powers, CDAR, AfriLab, the University of Cape Town, and ISG in Rwanda. In terms of concrete activities here, the evaluation framework for development to analyze the available business and delivery model, case study evaluating and applying the evaluation framework through the combination of the 4 dimensions, so kind of synthetic evaluation, productive use support through energy access and connectivity for new local business and access to a global market, supporting the world community and increasing its livelihood, guideline to summarize the framework, indicator, and related best practices. In terms of concrete deliverable here, we have the evaluation methodology and selection of best practice for mini-grid and delivery model for mini-grid, guideline for methodology for defining business and delivery model of mini-grid. Maybe if you can go to the next slide.
Eric,
Ricardo.
sorry, just 1 minute left.
Yes. Okay, maybe then capacity building have been mentioned already. We will involve PhD student and master student in the frame of the project. And we plan also from the research output to design educational material, which will go into a kind of online trainings program. So you can go to the next slide. I have to hurry up a bit. So I think after the capacity building part, we have the coordination part, which is more or less a kind of a generic work package that you will have in all projects of the LIPRE, coordination and financial management of activities, dissemination of and outreach through social media channels, online events such as webinar, publication of articles and out of the project, and transfer and research uptakes. Research uptake here meaning output of the research in terms of policy recommendation, but also in terms of entrepreneurial practice. So, and as already mentioned, coordination, dissemination, and research uptake is more or less a classical work almost all projects. So maybe quick in interaction with the VP. So, and scientific dissemination and strategy and will be linked to in terms of input to VP2 and in terms of output to VP3. Communication and awareness rising strategy will be linked in VP4 and also in terms of output to VP4, everything related to dissemination. The plan will be linked to VP3 and also to in terms of input, so transfer and research uptake, and the financial reporting guideline will be linked to VP1. So I will not go through the action list and the Gantt chart because I think we don't have enough time for that. I will just quickly jump to the risk assessment and contingency plan. We have identified 3 major risks for the project: the lack of electricity consumption and data availability, the lack of stakeholders collaboration, and the financial risk. With regard to lack of electricity consumption and data availability, so in terms of preventive measures, strong synergy with energy utilities, but also in terms of lack of data availability, we will use literatures in terms of desktop research, secondary literatures. So the impact on the project are quite limited. So for the lack of stakeholders collaboration, so in terms of preventive measures, we try to involve the local partners and specialized partners, but mainly also due to the COVID strongly relies on local partners. As you can see, we have a good distribution of partners in the north and in the south with the participation of many African countries. In terms of financial risk, so at the mitigation measures, continuous communication and strong organization of the activities, and also adjust activities with regard to the development of the project and the budget. So the impact is a bit, we will have a kind of delay in the project timeline, but we will find a way to adjust the activities with the timeline and the budget. So I think that is in the nutshell, so more or less the summary of our work package. I hand over to Ricardo.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Eric. We are running half an hour late, so I think we have really to try to stick on the 10 minutes and no more. Thank you very much for your presentation. Stay here around, let's say maybe not on stage for the final day. And
okay, so you can leave the stage so that we have enough bandwidth for presentation. Next is Mr. Ari Hapanen. Sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name right. Work Package 14 leader.
Hello, Emmanuel. I will share my screen now.
Okay.
Okay, if Nicolette can share it, I'm not able to open it as I wished.
Here I am.
Okay, if you can share my presentation.
Yes, I'll try to do that, Harry. Okay, I have it.
Okay, I cannot see it. I have had a problem whole time to see those presentations, but yeah, now I can see it at the right side of the screen. So may I present myself? My name is Ari Hapanen. I work for University of Vaasa, western part of Finland, and our work package is number 14, and the title of our work package is Energy Village. You can move to the next slide, please. Still further, please. We have 4 African partners involved to this project: Addis Ababa, Science and Technology University from Ethiopia, Botswana International University of Science and Technology from Botswana, Makerere University, Uganda, and Moi University from Kenya. Our main objectives are develop our energy village concept further to suit the better work in developing countries such as in Africa, and in this process, same time create 20 to 30 energy self-sufficient energy villages into those target countries together with our partners. Later on this process, we will also start creating our own kind of network to utilize this energy village concept into their own countries and into the whole Africa wide. And short description of our energy village concept, and it's started to be developed on 2003, and it clarified EU-funded project called Aspire on 2006 and 2009, and after that we have done energy village concept, used energy village concept in 30 villages which are working at the moment through the target. So the main idea is to create self-sufficient villages which are producing their own energy using local renewable energy sources such as photovoltaic, wind, water, bioenergy, etc. And when we are looking the village, we took into notice every energy vectors such as traffic fuels, electricity, and heat, and make this kind of mixture how to use renewable energy to fulfill energy need. The main idea is to take villagers, local people, into this development straight away from beginning, because they are the one who will make it happen, who will use the energy, who will use the technology in future. So it's important to involve them into this process straight away. The output, of course, is local income and welfare, employment for the people, energy, what money goes out of the village at the moment to buy some energy stays now after this process in the village and gives some work for the local and welfare and vitality. And of course, less fossil fuels to be burned. Okay, next one, please. Okay. So, as I said earlier, we have created a set of tools which fits into Finland mainly, of course, but they can be easily transferred to fit into developing countries such as Africa countries are. And on this process and on this energy village process, we will test the tools and method and develop it further to fit better. And of course, the network is important too. Okay, next one. So we have four different tasks, and the first task, which is going on throughout the whole projects, is this energy village concept and methodology development, and then we are aiming to have a 4 years project, and then this is the main task basically in a way. The second task is developing and testing the method, developing sustainable energy communities, energy villages, and test the method in these villages. Next one, please. Networking is the third task, which is done later part of the project, and connecting people, and is the key word in that. Next one, please. And the last but not least is the policy and recommendation. During this energy village creation, second task basically, when we are creating these energy villages, we will see what kind of problems there is, what works well and stuff like that, and give these policy and recommendations to tackle the barriers and obstacles. Okay, and I haven't marked every interaction between work packages, but these are at least most interesting what we went through, and noticed that there's a common interest in these work packages. So we are aiming to interact, of course. So first phase,
2 minutes
first
left.
6 months.
Sorry, Ari.
Actually, 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. First phase is to start developing the method, and after that, developing those energy villages. Okay, next slide, please. And this is short risk assessment and continuing plan. And last one, can you change the last one, please? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So next is Mr. Luke Richard from Audit, work package 15 leader.
Yes, hello. Can you hear
Okay.
me? Okay, I just need to find how to share my screen. Oh. Please tell me when you can see my screen, hear me well,
Yes, we can.
see me well.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So good afternoon, everyone. Luc Richaud speaking from Barcelona today. So I will be the work package leader of the work package 15, which is called Eureka. So Eureka is the contraction for Europe and Africa. And the aim of the project is a cooperation from grid digitization to sustainable energy for all. This is what the title of the work package means. So a short sum up about what's the main information of the project. So it starts at month 7 and ends month 30. So basically it starts next April. The partners involved are in the number of 6, 3 different typology of partners, I would say, with digital technology provider, which are Audity in France and INEA in Slovenia. Then sociological focus partner with the Institut Supérieur d'Al-Kietsman in Cameroon, and Next Energy Consumer, which is a company based in Italy and will act in the project as a service provider. And then 2 different system operators, which are connected with the 2 approaches that are going to be taken in this work package, which are Sonabel, the distribution system operator of Burkina Faso, and Nanoe, which is a company, a French and Malagasy company that deals with some nanogrids. So they grade them and manage nanogrids across Madagascar. So the main objectives of the work package is green electrification in Africa to enable productive usage of the electricity. This is done through two different fields, let's say, a technology field, which aims at the development of digitization tool in order to automate process, and then a methodology and new business models access, which is based on the input from the sociological partners, which will enable to adapt all those technologies to the local context. And so those two axes will be put in place in two different approaches, or two different demonstration sites. The first one is a bottom-up, which aims at interconnecting existing small microgrids. And the second one is a top-down approach, which aim at improving the reliability of the grid throughout distribution energy resources, hosted, and the development of a local flexibility market. The main ambition of the project are the use of data-driven methodology to automate processes and make the studies on the grid less costly. Then the engagement of local energy communities and the construction of a local marketplace to manage flexibilities, support mini-grid stability and the reliability of supply. And finally, the maximization of local, sustainable, and cost-effective energy resources. There will be two different approach will embed combined smart off-grid and smart on-grid solutions. So let's talk a bit about the general approach. So the bottom-up approach aims at bringing sustainable electricity to off-grid populations. So the starting point is in Madagascar with some nanogrids that supply electricity with a tier from 1 to 2. So this is the quality of it comes from the multi-tier framework, and it gives the quality of the energy supply. And the objective is to interconnect all those nanogrids together in order to reach a tier which is between 3 and 4. And then the top-down approach, which aims to improve the reliability of supply to urban population, which are facing massive booming in demand. And the aim is to improve this tier again, which is around 3 for the moment, to a tier between 4 and 5 through the development of the flexibility market and the improvement of the distribution energy resources integration within the network. So in order to reach those to organize those two approaches and the work package itself, we have 6 different tasks. Of course, to start with the project management 15.1 and the replication board 15.6. And the 2 different main aspects, which are the sociology, organization, and capacity building, as well as the technological aspects of the grid digitization, will be studied in both pilot sites. First one being the bottom-up in Madagascar and the top-down in Burkina Faso. So this is the global organization of the work package. Let's focus a minute on the different demonstration sites. So for in order to prove the 2 different approach, we selected 2 demonstration sites that fit with the requirements of the top-down and bottom-up approach. So we have Azimo Ouagadougou, which is a neighborhood in Ouagadougou, the capital of Burkina Faso. We have an urban area connected to the national grid with mainly residential consumers, around 800 houses, some hotel, fish shops, restaurants, but mainly residentials and mosques, sorry, but mainly residentials consumers. There are already 500 smart meters deployed in this section of the city based on a previous project, and the different consumers have subscribed power around which is inferior of 7 kVA. And on the other side, for the Malagasy demonstration sites, we are studying a village which is called Amboimena in the north of Madagascar. This is a rural area which is not connected to the national grid. There are currently 30 nanogrids, so they are how to say, well, 3-4 houses connected together and sharing production capacity and storage capacity, and they supply around 120 domestic users. And the aim here is to connect some of them in order to supply some potential predictive loads, which have been identified so far as rice mill and water pumps. So those are the two different demonstration sites. And then the two axes of study is the sociological part, as I said. So first there will be a study involving all the different stakeholders in the decision-making process, the governance of decision linked with energy. This will help to design and adapt the flexibility markets we want to deploy in the top-down approach to the local.
Sorry, Luca,
cultural and
just
social.
1 minute left.
Okay, good. To the local and sociological context, and design an accurate capacity building and training plan in order to ensure the replicability of the demonstration site. And then on the technology side, there are 3 tools that are going to be developed. The grid digitization software in order to manage this flexibility market I talked earlier of. The nanogrid interconnection model for the bottom-up approach, and the development of flexibility control units for the flexibility market. So what are the milestones and main outcomes of this work package? Well, there are 4 important expected results. First, we want to participate into the Sustainable Development Goal 7, which is the increase of the overall energy tier in the pilot sites. But we want to do that through the adaptation of technological solutions to the sociological and cultural aspects of both demonstration sites. Then we want to prove that the concept of those 2 approaches is replicable, and that such proof of concept can be used to go further in the deployment. And finally, identify some gap skills which could limit this replicability in order to address them with an accurate training plan. The main work package milestone, so you can see here between 7 and 30, and that's the last slide, Emanuela. Well, we have the 2 first milestones for the detailed work plan and outcome in scientific collaboration in 7 and 11. And then mainly middle of the project and end of the project, we have the sociological and technological outcome, and then the report on pilot site and replicability to schedule. Thank you very much for your attention, and I stay tuned for any question.
Thank you so much. So the final, the final presenter is Ahmed Rachid from the work package 16, from UPJV, sorry, work package 16 leader.
Ahmed.
Thank you.
So can you share my screen, my slides, or I have to do it?
You can share, but if you're unable, Nicolette can join and share.
Okay, I will try first.
Okay.
So can you see my slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe we ask a support.
Yeah. So Nicolette has joined.
Yes, I will do it for you, Hamed.
It?
No.
Okay, just go ahead.
Okay. So can you stop sharing your screen, Ahmed, if you have?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Perfect. So you can.
Okay, thank you. So this is work package 16. I am leading from the University of Picardie-Jules Verne. So next slide. There are 7 partners where we were initially 10, and we lost 3 of them due to administrative procedures, but they may join later if possible. There are 2 European partners from France and Germany, and 5 from Africa, from Benin and Senegal. It's a mixture of universities, companies, and NGOs. So, next slide, please. The main objectives are the number of 5. First, to determine the local conditions of access to energy in rural areas. Second, to design and build a container which is 100% renewable energy. Then to optimize the technical and economic benefits. This is a standalone container which has to be enlarged to mini-grid and microgrid and mini-grid. And finally, replication with mapping of areas in Benin and Senegal to be implemented. Next step, please. So we have 7 work packages. Well, it will be explained later with 3 milestones. The first result is quality assessment plan. It's about monitoring. The second is energy needs analysis for being user-centric in rural areas. Then the specification of the Leopard, the container. The Leopard is the name of work package 16. And the fourth result is quality control methodology. Then the prototype building and validation, followed by impact indicators for assessment, and then finally the replication mapping of Beninese and Senegalese areas. Next slide, please. Next slide. Thank you. So task 1 is coordination and management. Is quite classical work package task, I mean, with subtasks like coherence of the tasks and monitoring of progress, the dissemination for public, local public, relation with the lead partner or lead coordinator of LEAP-RE, alignment with the grants agreement and the consortium agreement, and coordination of local action in Benin and Senegal. Deliverable is the management and communication plan. Task 2 is the state-of-the-art, the need analysis and development of prototyping. So the leader is Ares, who is a big company dealing with energy in Benin. So with subtasks like analysis and collective self-consumption, choice of a second village, for implementation of the container, the feasibility study in this village and the design of microgrids, validation of the specification versus identified use cases, detailed specification of the container, supervision of the distribution network, definition of remote payment for the electricity bills, and sensoring and smart metering. The deliverables are energy needs analysis, it's a report, and another report about detailed specification of the container. Next slide, please. So task 3 is the installation, operation, and assessment. It's about building the container, collecting that data, making people aware of what is going on, and make it used by stakeholders and citizens, and also train the technicians and end users for maintenance and for use. The deliverable is the container itself, validated and tested, and quality control methodology to ensure that everything is working well. And the final task is next slide, please. Communication and dissemination. What has been done has to be disseminated. So there is different communication activities like websites and so on, and public engagement, creation of an impact indicators, and GIS study on the replicability, adaptability of microgrid solution to other areas, a toolkit with detailed methodology to replicate easily, and finally dissemination to a larger public. The review are the application of impact indicators and the replication mapping. Next slide. So we have started building our own logo. I don't know if it is allowed, but anyway, it is done. We had 2 partners meeting, discussing each other to know what we do and how we will manage to implement this work package. And there was already a communication on the website of the communication partner. Next. So this is how it looks like. Maybe we haven't yet designed the container, but it's basically a standalone container with solar panels, let's say solar panels, and all the components for connecting to end users and to eventually to microgrid. So we plan for the first 6 months a monthly meeting. We already started, as said, to build the action plan for each work package more precisely and in a detailed way. And we have to build, after the 6 months, the first deliverable, and which is the management and communication plan. And we plan a webinar to build a webinar, which we may have held in maybe in October. So risk assessment and contingency plan, we have listed 4 of them. Authorization to get to experiment the self-consumption. This is administrative topic. The second risk is lack of enthusiasm for partners to cooperate. Then lack of data collection to model the solution. And finally, differences between local contexts for in Benin, Senegal, and so on. Thank you very much. I think I have seen some answer questions.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ahmed. You did not.
Yeah. Can all the work package leaders join so that we do the question and answer? I can see some questions have been answered on the, but in case there's any questions that have not been answered. Ahmed, I think you've left. You're supposed to stay behind. So anyone else wants to join? You can just, we can start with any questions addressed to work package 13. Are there any questions for work package 13?
There was one question, Anna, if you allow me, I will
Sure.
explain this question that was, I think, from Francois, that was related to Work Package 13. So maybe Ricardo or Eric can answer. It was related to the logic to have a CSP demonstrator in the Work Package, which is mostly focused on mini grids configuration. So Ricardo already started answering, so maybe you can complement online. Okay, no, Ricardo cannot enter because we are already 6 on stage. So
I think the only thing that can't happen is, I think there's one person who's joined who is from the first initial work packages. Daniele?
Yes.
Is it possible to exit the stage?
Yes.
Because,
okay.
Yeah, please.
I'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay.
I need. How can I go out?
But I think Ricardo can still try to join, as it's 9 people who can be allowed. We can't present with more than 6 though. Ricardo? So
we need to remove the
yeah.
Okay, now we can join, I think.
Oh no, someone else has left.
Look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You should hear me, probably. I hope. No. Okay, I try to answer. Okay, I'm Emmanuel. And thank you, Francois. In fact, our OP is totally focused on the mini grid and is, let's say, neutral from a technology point of view. But thanks to the expertise of some partners on CSP, we have this extra activity, let's say, complementary activity regarding this pilot that is permitting to have, of course, more data available for our modeling approach when we will model the mini grid, considering the different technologies available for electricity generation. So this obviously is not one of the main activities, but is a complementary activity. This is the logic, and we are exploiting the expertise of some partners. Thanks.
Okay, is it possible to put down the question so that Adri can join? Adri, please join Work Package 14. We look through the questions that you've been asked. Okay, thank you. Okay, do you have a question or something you wanted to say?
No, I was commenting that there was already quite an interesting exchange of information and potential synergies between Work Package 14, Work Package 11, with the chance to include also Work Package 12 and 15. And so I think we have still to organize a deep area meeting in order to give the opportunity to the Work Package to analyze all the synergies.
Okay, yes. Okay. I'm assuming Adri has answered his question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can put that down. Is there any other question from anyone else on 14? If you have any questions, feel free to ask them as we go on. I'm seeing Francois and Bernardo have been asking a number of questions. The next one is Work Package 15. Any questions there?
There is a question on Work Package 15, which is, I think it's already, Luke already answered to it, but it's quite interesting because they asked about the engagement in the process of national authority, local TSO, in order to be able to implement the top-down approach of the mini grid. Luke, you already answered, but if you want to complement.
Yeah.
Yes, well, just stating that the Sonabel is a partner of the work package 15, and there is also the Eureka demonstration site in Burkina Faso is capitalizing on a previous project where we are working together and where we have some smart meters deployed and some first analysis of the network. So they are integrated.
Ari, can you move closer to your mic?
Oh, excuse me, can you hear me better?
Okay.
So just stating they are integrated, but I don't understand well, why the François has any doubt about why this company wouldn't be interested in the concept.
Okay.
So François Moisan, I don't know if he's a presenter, so I don't know if he can jump on.
Okay.
Can you please remove the question from the screen?
Yeah.
Because we can not control our video and mic. So can you remove the question from the screen? I don't know if managing to.
I don't know.
So remove. Yeah. Thank you.
So there is one last question. Probably, Hamed, this is for you. Which is related to the specificity of your containers, solar containers, compared to some existing containers. The questions come from François. You can hear? Can you hear? Hello?
Okay, can you put down the question? Okay. Oh, thank you. It's okay. I thought he had not unmuted himself.
Ahmed, can you?
Ahmed?
I cannot control my voice.
Okay. Can you put down the question then? I'm sorry, guys.
Okay. Don't place the question in the middle of the screen. So that
I understand the question. Okay, you mean there are already containers, and what is the difference of the container we will build? This is a question.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't know yet if the container is existing and will fulfill the expectation of the villages we are targeting. The study will show us if existing PV containers will allow us to use them as they are, first, and second, if they are cost effective. In fact, we have to respond to the question. I can answer you later during the project.
So maybe let me ask François. François, do you mean existing plug-and-play systems which are larger than maybe 1 kilowatt, or what exactly is the question? Maybe you can clarify the question, and then Ahmed can answer much later.
Okay, but
Listen to me.
Okay.
Yes, because there is already some containers available. For example, Accio Energy sells containers. And so it's interesting to see what is the specificity of in Leopard project of the container. I think they are all, and the existing one, it's about 50 to 100 kilowatt of power. And I don't know if there is other specificities of Leopard. It was just an information to understand better. But as I understood your response, you will study at the beginning the existing offer.
Yeah, but you said 50 to 100 kilowatt for the container. Is this right?
François, can you come back for a second? So that, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, just you said 50 to 100 kilowatt.
I think it's rather around 50, but I don't know which are the...
This you know, to have 100 kilowatts, you need 5,000 square meter. So this is not the case for our container. It will be rather around 10 to 20 kilowatts. Okay, so it's impossible to put such amount of capacity. But as I said, the cost, it must be cost effective and suitable for local people. So 100, it's not possible.
Okay.
Okay. So do take that into account while you're making an argument for the containers, that to look into whether there's existing ones, and then give, according to Bernardo, the selling proposition of your container over those ones. Yeah, so that's maybe what I'll summarize that as. I think that's it. Is there anything else?
Question from Bernardo, which is the last one in the chat, I think, for Work Package 16 as well, which is related to the timetables for the permitting, which means what is the latest day by which you need to have the permits ready. I think it's Work Package 16, if I got it right, Bernardo. So, Ahmed.
Excuse me, what is the question? Sorry.
The last question in the chat, you can read it because it's the last one. What are your timelines for the permitting? But I don't know if it was.
Yeah, what are the timelines for the permitting? What are your timelines for the permitting? Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Okay, it applies to general question extended to all the work package, as Bernardo clarified.
Yes. Yes, in fact, it will be the project. I don't know what it is. It started or not yet. We aim to start in April, but let's say next year will be ready. We'll be ready to implement the container, and we then need the authorization. But we feel it's not a problem to get it.
Okay. Thank you. If any other projects having installation on site want to complement the answer, I think it's appropriate to do it now, because the question of Bernardo is related to almost all.
Okay, so Bernardo has put a comment there, so do take account of that too, Ahmed. Yeah, so I think we're done. Maybe we can hand it back to the. No. Nicolette had mentioned something. Nicolette, is the question ready?
At any rate, I really ask all the work package leader to read carefully the last question from Bernardo, because I think it's the worry, the concern is very pertinent, especially for those who have to work on high technology readiness level. For those who are doing mostly the research part, maybe this is less relevant because we are managing labs, test, and pilot case. But if we are going, as Leopard seems to go, on that high TLR, then it's really appropriate that we take the consideration from Bernardo, quite relevant. But we will have time also to discuss together.
Okay, so there's a pop-up question. So I'm assuming this is for Pillar 2 work packages and anyone else. So which Pillar 2 work packages do you see the most synergies with? So do select one, and then I'm going to announce the answers in a second. Note that we'll be holding meetings with each of the work packages, so you should be able to actually meet and see where other synergies exist between you, because we would like the work packages to work together instead of having to, instead of having to do things very separately. Okay, so the answers are coming in. I see the percentages keep changing. And now I have lost my broadcast. Okay, found it. Okay. Okay, I think the have we stopped the tally or the vote is going on? Okay, yeah. Okay. I think the vote has now, it looks like the percentages have stopped changing significantly. So maybe it's possible to end the vote now.
I ended the vote, and
okay. Well, do we have an answer, or are we supposed to broadcast that, or is that something that we'll do internally?
Yeah, it's on the chat. In fact, you can see the responses on the chat.
Okay. Good. Okay. So thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's been listening in. Feel free to reach out to us, Emanuela and I, in case you have any questions and in case you have any clarifications that you'd like to get from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all the presenters.
I also wish to thank you, Emanuela and Anne, for moderating this session. It was very good. So we are still a little bit behind the schedule, colleagues. Now we are going to enter to the very last session of our consortium, of our kickoff meeting, sorry. But I propose you to have like only 5 minutes break so that we can have the time just to prepare the next speaker. So I'm going to leave the stage now, and the live will be back in only 5 minutes. Thank you.